Working.
Get it.
Good morning.
Yeah. Go. Good morning. Good.
Good morning. Hello. My name. Oh, thank you. My sign name, Hannah. I think that's about as much as I'll get. My sign is very limited, so I apologize. But thanks so much for having me here today. The lovely Bruce at the front here, who is my grandfather, my husband's grandfather, sorry, has invited me along today to have a chat with you all about healthy eating. So is anyone keen to learn more about healthy eating? Yeah? Yeah? Good. Very good. Okay, we'll get started. Make sure everyone can see the screen. I might move over here a little bit. Can everyone see the screen okay? Beautiful.
Good.
Alright. So my name's Hannah. I am a dietitian. And some people call this a food doctor. You can't see, can you? Maybe if I... Here?
Yeah, go there.
There's good. Yeah? Perfect. Food doctor, as most people would know it. So I'm here today to talk about nutrition, which is just food and diet and general eating practices. That's all it means. So I'm going to go through just some general healthy eating. We're going to talk about how to eat for strength, so to help with our bone and our muscle strength. And we're going to talk a little bit about type 2 diabetes. And yeah, so some people, does anyone here have type 2 diabetes?
Type 2, yes.
Yeah, okay, a few people. Wonderful, so we'll just give a few tips on that, and then we'll talk a little bit about exercise. So firstly, just with general healthy eating, this is what I like to call the healthy plate model. It'll be on your sheet in front of you as well. So if you want to have a look at that later, but this is the general principle. We've got, this is for lunch and dinner. So when you're eating at lunch and dinner, it's good to have half a plate full of vegetables. Now these vegetables, we want them to be non-starchy vegetables. So a starchy vegetable, does anyone know what a starchy vegetable is? Yep, yep.
Potatoes?
Potatoes?
Do you mean potatoes?
Yep, yep. So it'll be potatoes, pumpkin, and sweet potato are your starchy vegetables. Okay? Yep. So this side here, half a plate will be non-starchy. So it'll be lettuce, broccoli, corn, peas, those kinds of vegetables that are not potato. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Got that, got it.
Cool. And then we're going to move on to the carbohydrate. So you want half your plate to be these vegetables and a quarter plate to be carbohydrate. So that will be your potatoes, your pumpkin, your pasta, your rice, and bread. So that'll be about a quarter of that plate. Now what's left, we've got protein. So can anyone give me an example of protein?
Chicken?
Yep, yep.
Iron,
Yep.
iron, food with iron in it.
Food with iron. Yep, so beef.
Eggs.
Eggs. Yep. Beautiful. Everyone knows their protein. Good. So yep, it'll be beef, lamb, chicken, eggs, even things like tofu or something like that. And fish as well, yep. And even beans.
What about lentils?
Lentils as well, yes, absolutely, absolutely. Also things like beans as well, like baked beans. Yeah.
And what about veal?
Veal, yep, yep. So animal meat. Yep.
And what about roshi? Oh, rice, excuse me, rice.
No, so rice will actually be in the carbohydrate portion. Yeah.
Oh, I see, that's different. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about pulp?
Pulses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pulse.
Yeah.
Pulse.
So pulses like lentils or beans. Yeah.
So is that protein?
Yeah. It's one of those ones which is both protein and vegetable. So it's kind of both. It's one of the in-between categories. But they're really, really good for you. Very good for you. So if you're looking at it like this is just general sort of idea for lunch and dinner to get a balanced portion. So this could look like having a steak, having some salad, and having some rice or some pasta. Something like that. Now, in addition to this, we also want to look at snacks and dessert. For the most part, we want to have some fruit as a snack. So this could be apples, pears, mango, kiwi fruit, or berries. And to increase the amount of protein in your snacks, it's good to have it with something like yogurt, usually Greek yogurt, or something like a small bowl of custard. It has higher protein and higher calcium in there, which I will cover in a little bit about why that's important. Okay. So these foods here are on occasion. These will be about 1 to 2 times a week. And I know you're all giving me a look right now saying, oh no, don't take away my sweet foods. So I'm not saying you can't have cake. You can have cake, but just not every day. So having a piece of cake at a birthday or once a week is perfectly fine, but just not every single day. Or having a glass of wine on the weekend is fine. I know I like to have a glass of wine on the weekend, so it's perfectly fine. Just try not to have it every day. Okay? Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of foods you can have to help your muscles and your bones to stay nice and strong. So the protein that we talked about earlier, the fish, the beef, the chicken, this actually helps keep our muscles really nice and strong. And that's very important because not only will it help you with daily activities like lifting groceries or gardening or in the kitchen, but it can also help with our heart, keep our heart nice and strong and healthy, and our gut as well. It's also important to keep our legs nice and strong so that we're not at a risk of falling. Because unfortunately, as you get older, the risk of falling can increase, and we want to prevent that as much as possible. So making sure we get enough protein is really important. So that means having about 2 to 2.5 serves of protein each and every day. And I'll go through an example of what a serve of protein looks like as well. So like we talked about earlier, can you see? Yep. So we've got a lean beef steak. So this just means a cut of beef where you've cut off the piece of fat that's on it, yeah? Because that fat can, in a high amount, can be quite unhealthy. So we want to cut off that piece of fat, and it'll be about the size of the palm is a serve of beef. And if you would want the measurement, it's 65 grams. Another option is chicken. So that'll be 80 grams of chicken, which looks about like a half a chicken breast. Or you can have 2 large eggs, that's a serve as well. 1 can of tuna. If you like to have fresh tuna and you can afford it, fantastic. I myself, I love a can of tuna, that's perfectly fine. So whatever works for you. And as you mentioned earlier, the pulses and the beans are also really great sources of protein. And they're fantastic too. I just don't have them on the slides here. So just as an example, this way, yep. So as an example of what this could look like over the day, so we've got breakfast. You could have 2 large eggs with 2 pieces of whole grain toast. That would be 1 serve of protein. Then we have for lunch, you can have a tuna sandwich. If you don't like tuna, you don't have to have tuna. Just an example. You could have chicken instead. And with the healthy plate model that we talked about earlier, you have your sandwich, which has your carbs and your protein, with your half a plate of vegetables as well. So that could be a salad, it could be some steamed vegetables, whatever you prefer. And as a snack, you can have some fruit as well. And then that will be another serve of protein at lunch. And then at dinner time, your lean steak, which will be another serve of protein there. So that's 3 serves of protein across the day. So more than you need, but a good amount of protein across the day. Now we're going to chat about calcium. So does anyone know what foods have calcium in them?
Milk?
Milk, yep, absolutely, yep. So most dairy products?
Yeah, that helps you with your bones.
Bones,
Yes.
absolutely, yes, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
Vitamin D3.
Vitamin D3, I will get to that in a second, absolutely, yep. So with calcium, it's mostly found in our dairy products, so milk, cheese, yogurt, can't remember anymore at the top of my head. So it'll be those dairy products like you mentioned. It's also found in plant-based milks and plant-based yogurts. So that can be soy, that can be almond milk, that can be coconut milk. Does anyone here have any plant-based milk? I think, yeah. So
Some do,
some do, some don't.
Oh, skim milk?
Skim, yeah. Yeah, we've got a question.
I use cheese and
Good.
broccoli. Like green
Yeah,
broccoli.
yeah.
But if I get rid of the milk and I use coconut milk, I can use that. Does that help?
You can, yeah, I'll get to it in a moment. Just with the plant-based milks, we need to make sure that they have calcium added in. So I'll show you in a second what that can look like. Yep? Okay, beautiful. So with calcium, it's very important to keep your bones strong, as you would all know, and that can help reduce the risk of osteoporosis.
Just hold on with
Yeah. The bone, yes.
Yeah.
So with that disease, I'm not going to make you say it again, it can cause brittle bones. So one way to prevent it is to have some more calcium in your diet. So it's recommended to have 3 to 4 serves of calcium a day, which is a lot. So I'll give you some examples of what you can do to add some more calcium in your diet. So, like you said, cow's milk. So 1 cup of cow's milk, 2 slices of cheese, mention the cheese over here, 3/4 of a cup of yogurt, which is about one of those small tubs, and 1 cup of the plant-based milk. So that could be soy, almond, or coconut. But we just need to make sure that that milk has calcium added in as well, because sometimes they don't add it in. So this is a little bit tricky to read, but this is the back of an almond milk package. And this will be the same for the coconut milk as well. So we want to make sure that it's got calcium on the package, and you want to make sure it's in the ingredients, because coconut milk doesn't coconut milk doesn't naturally have calcium in it. Does anyone have any questions at this point? All good? Oh, yeah.
So what about lactose milk? Yeah.
Yeah, so lactose-free milk.
Oh yeah, because I do have an allergy to lactose.
Yeah.
So dairy and cow's milk I can't. I had to change to lactose-free milk.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. So lactose-free milk will
So
still
does
have
that still?
calcium.
Yeah. Does that mean only the lactose has been taken out?
Only the lactose has been taken out. Yeah.
Oh, good.
So lactose-free milk is a great option.
Oh, great,
Alright,
thank you.
all good? Okay, so from the plan that we looked at a little bit earlier, I've added in some calcium as well, just to give you an example. So we've got our 2 eggs with 2 toast, and then if we have a coffee, does anyone here like coffee? Yeah? I know I can't live without my coffee. So it's good to have coffee made with milk. That can be your plant-based or your cow's milk. And you can have it with your coffee in the morning, so you stay nice and awake. Okay. And at morning tea time, that could be a tub of yogurt. It can be Greek yogurt with a little bit of honey. It can be sweetened yogurt, or it can be coconut yogurt as well. But just make sure the calcium's
Yes,
there.
coconut yogurt.
Yep, coconut yogurt. Yep. Beautiful.
What about for breakfast in the morning? Can you have cereal? Can we do cereal in there?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is just an example with cornflakes.
Yeah, with cornflakes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, or oats. Yeah.
Or oats. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Got someone at the back. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. So cereal also.
Cereal as well. Yep, yep. As long as you.
Oh yeah. Can we make sure that it stands up for questions?
Yeah, sure. Perfect. Yeah, so you can definitely have it with cereal or toast. This is just an example of how you could get it in for the day. At lunchtime, it could be with your cheese. So if you have that sandwich with your vegetables, having 2 slices of cheese on your sandwich as well is another great option for increasing calcium. At dinner time, I've left it the same. So we've got steak and veg with our non-starchy vegetables, and 2 small potatoes as the carbohydrate. And then for dessert, that could look like a small bowl of rice pudding, or a low-fat custard. That's got calcium in there too, because it's made with milk. Does that make sense to everyone?
What about ice cream?
Yeah, so ice cream has calcium in it. It is a little bit high in sugar. So you want to be careful with the amount that you're having.
What about if it was low-fat ice cream?
Low-fat ice cream's good, but I'd say keep it to maybe a few times a week, not every day, because it does have high sugar.
Okay, right, yeah, I'll do that, thank you. Just a few times a week. Thank you.
Alright, cool. Any others? Yeah?
One question. What about what type of
take
bread?
a picture.
What about what type of bread?
So I would recommend whole grain bread. So the one with the seeds, is best. But there are other brands of bread.
Talking about sandwich. Brown bread.
Brown bread, exactly. Yeah.
Come step forward, Will.
Yeah.
Step forward, yeah.
Beautiful. So whole grain bread is
I have a
best.
question.
Yeah.
New Coles bread.
Yeah, so
And low carb white bread, so it's 50% less carbs. What do you think about that type of bread? You know the bread that you buy at Coles?
Yeah.
it's fresh. Not
It's
frozen.
fresh bread. I'd have to have a look at it. Most of the time, if it has seeds in it, I say it's great. With the low carb option, if that's something that you like, then that's fantastic too. It still has a very good amount of fibre in there. Yeah.
Yeah, high fiber, yes.
High fibre, good, very good. Yes, in the blue. Oh yeah, yeah.
Like whole grain bread, my dietitian says it breaks my teeth. So should I stay with white bread or what?
So you're currently eating white bread?
Yes. I don't ever eat white bread. It's more
Whole meal.
wholemeal. Yeah.
So eating wholemeal at the moment. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm buying at the moment.
I think that's
Yeah.
great.
Is that still a good bread? Yeah.
Yeah,
Rye bread. Oh,
yeah. If your dietitian said so, absolutely. If it's brown, it's good. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, good.
yeah.
What about pumpkin bread? Is that good?
Pumpkin bread, it depends. If I can see the nutrition panel on it, then I would know. Generally, I think it's fine. But if it has seeds in it, it's even better. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd have to have a look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah. I never really eat bread that much. I have yeast. I never sort of eat bread with yeast. Yeah. I more have wraps.
Wraps.
Yeah.
Yep. Wraps are fine.
Okay,
Wraps
cool.
are fine.
What's better, cooking oil or what would yeah? What brand of cooking oil?
I might come back to that one at the end, and I'll focus on this one at the moment. We've got more questions coming at the end. Yeah?
Can I ask you what they were saying? I'll try and repeat. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
Perfect. Okay. All right, I'll move on, and any other questions we can answer at the end. Okay. So, like you mentioned earlier, lovely lady down the front, vitamin D is very important for keeping our bones nice and strong. So vitamin D actually helps us absorb the calcium that we're getting from the dairy. And I'm seeing some nods. So everyone across this already? Everyone looks like they're understanding? Good, good. So it also is very important for helping keep sleep regular. So it helps us when we're going to bed at night and helps our body clock wake us up in the morning. So vitamin D, can anyone tell me, a bit of a clue on the screen, can anyone tell me where vitamin D is from? Where we can get it from?
Sunflowers? From
Sun.
the sun.
Sun, yes, yes, perfect, good.
Yeah.
So about 30 minutes of sun is all you need. It's better to get it either in the early morning or the late afternoon so that you're not getting sunburnt.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you are out in the sun for a long period of time, make sure that you've got sunscreen and a hat. That'll help with preventing skin cancers, which are nasty. Oh, good. Cool. Good.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. I'll touch briefly on type 2 diabetes. I saw a few of your hands go up saying that you have type 2 diabetes. Yep. So I'm just going to give some general advice, but for more advice, speak with your doctor and they can get you a referral to a dietitian. So what is type 2 diabetes? It's when there's too much sugar in the blood and not enough of the hormone called insulin. So with our blood sugars, carbohydrates will increase our blood sugars. So making sure that you're getting the right type of carbohydrate and the right amount of carbohydrate is really important for managing type 2 diabetes. Some examples of carbohydrates we touched on already, but some good examples is the whole grain bread, whole grain pasta, starchy vegetables like potato, pumpkin, and sweet potato, and the cereals that someone mentioned earlier as well. So the best option is untoasted muesli or porridge like oats. So just some general tips. As we looked at with the diet plan earlier, we want to make sure that the carbohydrate is spread evenly throughout the day. So you're not having 6 or 7 pieces of toast in the morning and then nothing at night. We want to make sure that it's spread all the way across the day. This will help keep our blood sugars nice and steady, and it'll help the insulin work across the day. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah?
Yep.
Yep, perfect.
Question over there.
Yeah.
I want to know what's the difference between type 1 and type 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So type 1 is something called an autoimmune disease. So people are usually born with it, and it means they don't have any insulin at all. So the pancreas will produce the insulin, and their pancreas doesn't work at all. With type 2 diabetes, it's usually developed over a lifetime, or not a lifetime, over a few years. And the insulin, the pancreas stops working over time. So your body may still be producing insulin, but just not enough. So depending on how your doctor is helping you with your diabetes, you may have injections or you may have a tablet. But if you have more questions about specific details of your diabetes, best to talk to your doctor. Does that answer the question? Yeah, all good? Yeah.
I'll just say, sorry.
That's alright, that's okay. Beautiful.
Yeah, that's good, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
So the best type of carbohydrate, carbs, that we talked about earlier will be the whole grain carbs. So that's seedy bread. You can also buy whole grain pasta. Rice is fine as well, and the starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potato, and pumpkin. It's also important to keep those vegetables up because they can help regulate the blood sugars as well. And with fruit, 2 serves of fruit a day. Yeah. Got questions?
Sorry. So with pasta, I've replaced that with buckwheat rolls, and it's delicious. I really love it. It's the same, and it's lower, right? Lower starch and so forth. So I find it really good. I thought it would be disgusting, but it's not. It's really nice. Yeah.
Well, that's very good. So she just said that buckwheat rolls are very good as well as an option for a carb, and they're perfectly good.
I bought it at Aldi.
Aldi.
That's where I get them from, and they've got different products. Yeah.
I love shopping at Aldi. It's very, very good. I love Aldi. So we've got a sponsor here.
Yes, you just said I was doing something.
Yeah.
No. I just go for healthy stuff.
It's good. It's good. Very, very good. Also important to keep up the fruit. So 2 serves of fruit a day. Try not to eat too much fruit.
Well, what types of fruit? Just different kinds of fruit, or any in particular, or just anything?
Yeah. It can be anything. One fruit to mention is bananas. If you have type 2 diabetes, probably best to limit the amount of bananas you're having because they can...
Too sweet?
They are very sweet, yeah. So they will increase your blood sugars very quickly, which is not good.
It's good for energy, right?
Very good for energy. Yeah, and if you're not diabetic, then there's no need to worry about it. Yeah, they're very, very good for energy. Other types of fruit are a little bit lower in sugar, so they just won't spike your blood sugars as quickly. So it's better over the course of the day.
Question up the back.
Yep.
Right up the back. I used to work and they said that bananas, where I used to work, and they used to, a guy had a sore back and he went to the GP and they said, you've got to eat more bananas and we'll help you with your back. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, so bananas have something called potassium.
I'm just checking
As
everyone
you
saw the
know.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they have potassium, which would probably have helped with his back. I'm just talking specifically for type 2 diabetes. Sometimes having 1 banana a day is okay, but having a lot every day is not great for the blood sugars. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yes. Another question over here.
Yep.
Morning juices that I make, I put apples, oranges, carrots, and then what was the 4th thing? Celery.
Celery, yeah.
I put that in the morning to do as a juice, and we both have it. And he's 91, and we're both having
Hey,
it.
there you go. We've got some advice here.
What do you think?
Do you need to tell everyone what the question was? Yeah. So that's a good way for getting in vegetables and fruit for the day. But also whole fruit is good as well, and whole vegetables are good. So you don't have to put it in a juice, but it's a great way to get it in for the day. any more questions at the end, okay? Just so you keep moving. It's good, you're all very curious and wanting to learn, which is fantastic. So other general tips, like I talked about earlier, we want to limit the amount of sugary foods. So things like lollies, chocolates, cakes, things like that, you want to limit. Doesn't mean you can't have it, just in smaller amounts, maybe twice a week. Okay, so you can still enjoy your cake. I don't want to take your cake away from you. Okay? And also alcohol. Yeah?
So sweets, I mean, I see what you're talking about, but for me, for energy, I need my sweets. Is that bad? Well, what about dark chocolate?
Yeah, so dark chocolate is good in small amounts, but just if you're not going through it all the time in massive amounts, it's good just a few squares is good. Yeah. And if you're having, you know, a very small amount of lollies every other day, that's okay. But just making sure you're not having a lot every single day. Yeah. If it's helping with your energy, you know what? That's good. That's good. Yeah. Okay. And also, I know you don't want to hear this either, but probably limiting your alcohol is good for your diabetes. So having, you know, a glass of wine or some whiskey on the weekend is perfectly fine, but just trying not to have it every single day. I know no one wants to hear that, because everyone loves to have a bit of a drink sometimes. So this is just an example of what this could look like. We've got...
This is diabetes specific.
This is diabetes specific, but everyone can eat this way as well. So for the most part, I'm talking to the diabetics in the room, but this is very healthy eating for everybody. So like the lady mentioned up the back there, you can have your cereal. So half a cup of untoasted cereal is good, or some oats as well. If you like to have porridge, that's fine too. With your milk for your calcium, and you can have some nuts as well if you like nuts, or a spoonful of peanut butter. Just make sure with the peanut butter that it doesn't have added sugar in there, because that can spike the blood sugar as well. At morning tea, we've got the yogurt for the calcium, and you can have a small piece of fruit just as a snack. At lunchtime, that could look like tuna or chicken with some whole grain pasta for your carbohydrate, and 2 slices of cheese for your calcium. So you see how we're spreading the carbohydrate throughout the day. We're getting in our protein throughout the day, and we're also getting our calcium throughout the day as well. So just at the end as well, the rice pudding will have the carbohydrate in there. So that will be your carbohydrate and your calcium for the day. Does that make sense to everybody? Yep?
Good. Yep.
Okay. So like I said, if you have any questions about diabetes, it's best to ask your GP, because each case can be quite specific. And they can also refer you to a dietitian. They'll give you more diet advice. Okay, exercise. Does anyone do any kind of exercise here? Can we give an example? Yeah? What kind of exercise?
Walking the dog.
Walking the dog. Perfect. Yep.
Just see, I walk 30 minutes to an hour nearly every day.
Beautiful.
If it's raining, then I don't. I'll sometimes even go out with my umbrella just to get the exercise.
That's fantastic. That's really good.
Other example?
Yeah.
I walk in the morning before it gets too hot.
Yes, very, very good. You get that vitamin D as well.
Shopping, walking through the shops.
Walking through the shops, perfect. Perfect example. Does anyone do swimming? Yes.
Swimming?
Swimming,
Yes.
beautiful. Anyone do cycling? No?
Yeah,
Yeah, cycle?
sometimes.
Yeah?
In my future, she said down the back.
Very good, go down here.
Oh, trimming leaves and sweeping
Trimming leaves, yes, beautiful
Gardening.
example, beautiful example. So it's really, really good to get in that exercise. So that can be your walking, your swimming, all those examples you mentioned, because that can actually help us with reducing the risk of falling. So it helps to strengthen legs and arms and can help you with everyday activities. It also can help improve sleep. So if anyone's having some trouble sleeping, then it can help you feel more tired at the end of the day. So then you sleep better. Yeah. And also can help with type 2 diabetes. So for those of you who have type 2 diabetes, can help regulate your blood sugars and can also reduce the risk of heart disease.
Okay.
So it's important. Whoop, I'm going to fall over. It's important to. Yeah, I'm going to fall
Yeah,
over.
playing tennis. It looks like you were playing tennis. Oh, well, as in, is tennis actually, is that a good exercise? Does
Tennis
anyone
is
play tennis?
fantastic. Tennis is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody want to play tennis? No?
She's asking if anyone wants to play tennis. Maybe you can have a chat about that after. Beautiful. So you want to aim for about at least 30 minutes a day. If you get up to an hour, that is fantastic. So we're looking at walking, you mentioned that already, swimming, cycling, even things like yoga or Pilates, gardening, like you mentioned over here, gardening, tennis, and cleaning the house. So if you really don't want to clean the house, and then you think, okay, well, now I can get my exercise in, then I don't know, that might be better motivation for you. Yeah.
What about walking up and down the stairs?
Absolutely. Yep, perfect. Yep. Walking up and down the stairs is great. Yep. Here are some other examples, which I don't think anyone's mentioned yet. So any sort of weightlifting or resistance. Has anyone got a resistance band? I see you over here have got resistance bands. Yep. Yep. Lifting or carrying the groceries is good. Yeah, the stretching, yeah. Yep, so the stretching band is always good for exercise. Lifting up over your head is fantastic. If you've got any grandkids, picking up the grandchildren, that counts as exercise. So that's always good.
Question up the back?
Yep.
Yeah, I just took up my grandson.
Your grand.
Yeah, he's 9 years old and I pick him up and
Oh, he'd be quite heavy then. He's got to be quite heavy, so if you pick up your grandchildren, you get a good workout in. Alright.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, just to summarise what we've had a chat about today, we've talked about the healthy plate model, so that half plate of vegetables, like your lettuce, your capsicum, tomato, things like that. Your quarter plate of carb, so there'll be potato, rice, bread, and then you've got your quarter plate of protein, which will be beef, chicken, pulses, tofu, eggs, all of those. We talked about why protein is important for our muscles. We want to aim for 3 serves a day, and I've got the serves on your sheets in front of you. If there's not enough, then I can always send it to you, or we'll figure out a way of getting it to you. And our calcium for 3 to 4 serves a day of our dairy. Vitamin D, about 30 minutes of sun a day is good. And exercise, we want to aim for at least 30 minutes a day. If you can do an hour of exercise, that is fantastic.
What about fish like salmon? Yeah. Yeah. The salmon I think is the best. It's good for your body.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
So salmon does have calcium in it as well. So salmon is a really good fish, and it's got a lot of healthy fats in there too. Yeah, so very, very good. Yep.
So for fish, canned fish, I think that sometimes has the
extra stuff in there. Have to repeat it, yeah.
yeah.
If canned fish has...
Just repeat it.
Yeah. You can throw that out, right?
You can get rid of the water in the can of fish, that's fine.
Yeah, that's just like the rubbish. Yeah,
You'll still get the proteins. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Yep, we've got a question over here.
Yeah, and what about fish oil?
Fish oil.
Like the tablets?
Yep, so fish oil is good too. Very, very good. It's healthy fats, so they're very good for you as well. Yep. Another question? Yep.
So fish in a tin.
Attention members
I
and
never
guests,
buy
can Peter
the one
Germanos
with the
come to
water in it.
reception?
I get the one that's
Peter
got the oil in
Germanos.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't need to replace that with another oil if you've got it with the fish oil. Does that?
Canola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have the fish with the oil in it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I bought the canola oil. I drain out that other. Oh, hang on. Do you mean that oil that's in is not the healthiest oil? Oh yeah.
The
Okay,
oil
so
that's
no, I think she's making a point of the oil that's in the can already. You don't need to replace that with another oil.
Yes.
The canola oil.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll
So
tell
that's
everyone.
make it easy. Yeah.
So if you've got a can of fish that has oil in it, you don't need to drain out the oil. You can keep that oil in there because it's got really good healthy fats, and it'll help with the absorption of the calcium and the protein that's in the fish. So don't tip it out. It's good for you. Yes.
One more question here.
Yeah. We're at the question stage anyway.
Yeah. So this morning, what did I have for breakfast? So yes, I had a can.
Okay.
Baked beans. Is that okay?
That's great for protein. If you're having beans though, sometimes you can get a little bit gassy. So be careful where you go.
No, I don't really have a problem with that. No, yeah.
Yeah, we've got a question. Yeah.
So before I had an operation, my specialist doctor said not to eat fish oil for 1 week before the operation because it can make your
blood thinners.
Yeah, my blood thinners. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think in that case, if your doctor said not to eat something, then go with what your doctor has said. But that would have been specific to the operation. Yeah. We'll work our way.
So I have a question to ask. Maybe just a little worried, or I'm wondering. Sorry. Cooking chicken in the microwave, is that good or bad?
Perfectly fine.
Really? Yeah. So another question.
Yeah.
We all want to drink water, but then there's also like another sort of. Oh, what about like sparkling water? Like in a soda stream, is sparkling water, a fizzy sort of drink?
If it's sparkling water, that's fine.
Does it affect your bones?
Affect
Does it affect bones?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. But I don't know everything, so I could be wrong. I think it's better to get more water in than to leave out sparkling water. Does that make sense? Yeah. Yeah.
So what about sardines with oil and water?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
They are perfectly, they're good, very good.
Yeah, but the sardines, they give me a little bit of reflux. Yeah.
So that can happen with the sardines. If you can manage the sardines, I find them a bit too smelly for me. But if you like them, then I think they're great. But just don't eat too many, otherwise you'll reflux. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I liked, what was it, sorry?
You might have to sign this.
So I grew up drinking cow's milk,
Yeah.
and that tasted good. But when I became, I don't know, when I was in my 20s or 30s, my taste changed. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I remember way back in the day, natural cow's milk, it had that layer on the top.
Yeah.
I think, that more when I was in my 20s or 30s, the taste of milk changed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
'cause it
now
just
you
had
don't
that-
like the taste anymore? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's different. Yeah,
It's
it
different.
upsets my tummy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's changed.
Yes.
Yeah. It is different. It is different. But important to look at other sources of calcium like yogurt or something you prefer to taste. So you get enough calcium.
Yeah, I think that's what I wanted to ask the milk companies. Why do they change
I know.
milk? Why do they?
I wish they
want
had
to
it
do
too.
Yeah, full cream, you're saying.
Yeah, it used to taste much better. Absolutely. Yeah, we've got
Yeah, it's now more like low carb. Yeah, it depends on sort of like.
Yeah.
Question over here.
Cholesterol. Yeah. Yeah, I think it changes it to
Two questions.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, with milk, so O2, yeah. Oh, do you mean like the A2 milk?
A2.
Yeah, A2 milk. Yeah. Is that better, would you say? It's more expensive, but yeah.
Yeah, A2 depends on whether it feels better for you. If you don't get any bowel symptoms, then that's good. But lactose-free milk often does the same thing.
Yeah, it's still full cream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's still a really good source of calcium. It just sometimes helps people if it doesn't sit well with them in their stomach.
Yeah, sure. So what about, there's different types of nuts? Nuts, yeah, different nuts. Yeah. What about them? Yeah, different types of nuts, are they?
Nuts or nut milk?
No.
Just nuts.
Yeah, just nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, so nuts, usually we go for something like almonds or walnuts are good. Peanuts are okay sometimes because they have quite high saturated fat.
What about cashews?
Cashews are good too. Yes, I just couldn't think of it. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
What about Brazil nuts?
Brazil nuts are good. Yeah. They're a little bit higher in fat, So if you are going to have some nuts, then it's good to just have a very small handful, because they have a lot of energy and calories in them in one small portion. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about salts? Yeah,
Salts?
like low salt options. Is that
Low salt is very, very good, particularly if you have high blood pressure. It's very good to go for a low salt option. Yeah. Yeah.
What's the difference between the lactose?
What's the difference between lactose-free and milk?
Yeah, what's the difference between those two?
So lactose-free milk, they take out the lactose. That's the only difference. Because the
So
lactose...
What does that mean?
Yeah.
What exactly is lactose? Then?
Yeah. So lactose is a sugar that can make some people sick. So they don't have the right, I can't say enzyme, the right hormone to break it down in their gut. So if they take
Just
out
hold
the...
on a second, I'm explaining the enzyme.
Okay.
Insulin or sugar? Sugar. If you not have insulin, not fit sugar can't. Same lactose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Does that make sense? It just helps them digest better. So, some people are lactose intolerant and they can't digest it.
So my doctor told me, I think last year or 2 years ago, told me that it's better to ask that question. Yeah, or that your doctor told you what specifically? Yeah, to drink lactose free.
Yeah, because if you drank milk before, did you feel sick?
Yeah, a little bit. Now I've changed to
And is it?
the different brand of
And it's
lactose free,
better?
and it's better now.
Yeah, good. Yeah, perfect. Yes. Green shirt. Yeah.
I do have a question about what about the name of like cocktails with sugar? You mean coconut? Yeah, coconut sugar.
Coconut sugar.
Yeah.
In a
coconut.
cocktail?
Yeah. Yeah, that sugar, is that okay? Have you ever heard of? Yeah.
I've heard of coconut sugar. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I've started using it for my coffees.
yeah,
Yeah. Do you think that's
it's
okay?
good, just in small amounts. Use it the same as you would a white sugar.
Yeah, just one sugar or 2 sugars. Yeah, one sugar
Yeah.
is fine. Yeah.
Yeah. You can use it the same as normal sugar. It's pretty much the same. Maybe just different flavour.
It's organic, right? So it's a little bit. Yeah, coconut sugar is more organic sugar. Yeah. Do you think that's
Yeah.
for that?
In terms of how your body uses it, it's the same. Yeah. So if for diabetes, it will still spike blood sugar. So still to just have a little amount. Yeah. And was there another question over here? Do you have a question? No? Yeah? Fire?
Peanut butter.
Yeah, peanuts, so put peanut butter. Yeah. On toast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Just make sure with the peanut butter that it's no sugar or low sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the low fat version.
Low sugar, low fat. Okay.
Yeah, low sugar.
Ah,
Okay, maybe I should
yeah.
go for low sugar.
And low salt. Mm.
maybe one more tip for a deaf person that taught me. I bought a fruit like bananas, but now I've got told sort of if you're diabetic you shouldn't eat bananas, but nuts are a good option. I've sort of started picking different kinds of nuts. Like 50 grams of nuts, just to eat that. It helps me get quite full quickly.
Yes.
Would you say that?
Nuts are good, just in a small amount, very small handful. I'll just gonna.
Yeah, only 50 grams.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do one last question. Do we have one? Yeah.
So, what about honey as well? Like a little teaspoon of honey, like shaken in milk, like A2 milk. Would that be okay?
It's good, just a little bit, because it can still spike the blood sugars.
Little honey.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's fine. That's closed. Time to close up because we've gone an hour now. So, So it's good that you're all excited and asking all your questions. Thank you, Hannah.